Good morning. Good morning. Today is College Sunday. I am very excited to invite these wonderful young students to share their life stories. But before, let us at this time, as you are able, rise in the reading of God's Word. When Moses had finished speaking all these words to all Israel, he said to them, I am now 120 years old. I am no longer able to get about. And the Lord has told me, you shall not cross over this Jordan. The Lord your God himself will cross over before you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you shall dispossess them. Joshua also will cross over before you, as the Lord promised. The Lord will do to them as he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their land, when he utterly destroyed them. The Lord will give them over to you, and you shall deal with them in full accord with the command that I have given to you. Be strong and bold. Have no fear or dread of them, because it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. My friends, this is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. Friends, you may be seated. So for the past 2 weeks, I have had the pleasure of meeting some of the finest groups of students ever. And before I invite the students to a time of sharing and testimony, I want to take this time to thank everyone at AUMC. Thank you, parents, for bringing them into our church and guiding them to be who they are today. Thank you, pastors, leaders, and teachers, for nurturing them with your love and service and bestowing upon them your knowledge and wisdom. And thank you all for making this marvelous community of faith a safe and sacred space where they can grow closer to God and others. Hebrews chapter 12:28 tells us to be thankful and worship God acceptably with reverence and awe. Reverence and awe. One should never get too comfortable talking about God. Terms like reverence and awe naturally demand us a level of burden and, dare I say, discomfort, especially when you're using your life story as an instrument to glorify the one true God. No pressure. No pressure. What these students are about to do is no easy task. And I want to commend you for your strength and courage. Our vision for young adults in 2018 comes from Romans chapter 12, verses 1 through 13, where it says, never let the fire in your heart go out. Keep it alive. Serve the Lord. When you hope, be joyful. When you suffer, be patient. When you pray, be faithful. Share with God's people who are in need. Welcome others into your homes. Never let your fire go out. I firmly believe that God has a very special plan for these students in their season of preparation and growth. And so, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the scholars of AUMC.
Good morning. My name is Kyla Carney. I'm a freshman at the Catholic University of America, and I'm a musical theater major. going to keep this short and sweet for y'all. So basically, going into college, I was a little nervous because I was going to a Catholic school, and obviously I am not Catholic, and so I was worried about continuing my faith journey into college. But what I found was that AUMC really prepared me and made me confident in my faith, so I was able to really grow upon it in college, and having the foundation that the church gave me was so helpful, and it allowed me to trust my beliefs in my faith and rely on God in the tough times throughout the semester. So that was really special to me. Also, just the community. Whenever I come back, or the community is so supportive. Y'all are like genuinely interested to see what I'm doing. There's so many people who come up and ask me how I'm doing, if I'm in any shows or anything, and I know that every one of you genuinely cares about me, which is just so nice to be able to have that community to come back to. And it's a constant in my life, because transitioning into college is weird, because you have half of your life back at home and then half of your life in college, and balancing the two can sometimes be difficult, but AUMC has been such a constant in my transition, and I don't think that I'd be where I am without all of you. So I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me and caring about me and my peers, and I don't think I would be where I am without you guys. And so, thank you for always letting me sing or just asking how I am, because I really do appreciate all the opportunities that you have given me, and for welcoming me into all of your lives. So thank you so much.
Kyla told me I'd get some of her minutes, so sorry guys, it's gonna be long. So I'm Jaci Cannon. I'm a sophomore, hopefully nursing major at James Madison University. And 2017 has been like the biggest year of growth that I've ever gone through, which is kind of why when Peter said to give my testimony, I said, how long do I have? Because it might be kind of long, but we're gonna really try to keep it short and sweet and give you the highlights. All right, so AUMC really introduced me to Christ, and I'm so blessed that I grew up in a faith community, because when I see other people come to faith later in their life, as they're older, I'm in such awe, because I don't know how I would do that, and so it really just made me so grateful for AUMC, how they set me up for that success in my faith path later on. And as I said last year, I joined InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, which is a campus ministry at James Madison University. And our chapter is pretty big, and I've been so blessed by that community. Like, that community has just changed my life. It made my relationship with Christ personal, and has really shown me like what it means to live out Christ on a daily basis, and has also proven that like young people do still go to church, and young people do love Jesus, and that's really cool. So I came back last year, and I was like, wow, I'm doing all these great things. College is awesome. And then I went back to school for 2017, and God was like, you're like you're not attributing your success to me. And I hit a wall. It was so rough. I took anatomy and statistics at the same time. Anatomy. JMU separates anatomy and physiology because we have one of the hardest anatomy courses on the East Coast, and that class actually destroyed me. There's a lot going on in the human body. I don't know how God put this all together, but there's a lot going on. And JMU nursing is just an extremely competitive program, and it's not based on how funny I am, so like it's a really competitive process, which is unfortunate. So I really struggled with my academics. I just really had a hard time. My friend and I were both going through some things, and we had a really big fallout, which luckily we have resolved, and we are good friends now, but that was really tough on me. That took a toll. And my community of my small group just kind of hit what we call the sophomore slump, but like a semester early, and so that was kind of falling apart. And so I I felt like I lost all my community. I was really struggling with determining if I was like worthy of being loved because I felt like such a failure, and I was struggling hard. There were nights when I just like cried myself to sleep, and I just remember praying to God and like envisioning me on my hands and knees just weeping at his feet saying, God, I cannot feel like this anymore. Like, I am broken. Please do like anything. I will do anything. And this really hit a point when I went to my discipler, who is like my mentor through university, and I said, Jennifer, I'm so unworthy of love. I love people and I want to be with people at all times, and they don't love me back, and I don't understand why God would make someone who wants to be with people and people wouldn't want to be with me back. And after comforting me and telling me that that was ridiculous because I was clearly loved, I was just looking in places that I wasn't, she told me I had to go on women's conference. So I had 3 like major events happen last semester, spring semester, that like kind of changed my life. It was winter conference, which basically made me realize that I still do have a lot of shame in myself that I wasn't dealing with. There was women's conference, and the topic was cherished, and it was learning that you were loved. And I saw the sign for this, and I said, we're not going to this. These are a lot of emotions I need to deal with, and I'm not doing it. And so, of course, God laughed at me and made me go, and lo and behold, I found myself at Women's Conference, which is just a conference put on by the women in university for the whole JMU community, just to come together and talk about what it's like to be a young woman of Christ in 2017 and all the different struggles that we struggle with. And so most importantly, what I learned at Women's Conference is that, well, I learned a lot, actually. I have my notes. Anyone can come ask me. I'll tell all about it. But I was given a time limit. But the biggest thing I learned is that like I wasn't going through this alone, and that we're all going to struggle, and everyone deals with insecurities and thoughts of like worthlessness, but I wasn't alone, and that those feelings would end, and that there was like a light at the end of the tunnel, which was so cool because I was like, I cannot be sad forever. This is not me. Like, we're not doing this. So about a month after Women's Conference, I went on NICUP, which is New York City Urban Project. Again, I have so many notes from that. Please come ask me, but time crunch. And NICUP was focused on bringing biblical justice to the city, and it was focused on reconciliation and seeing others and not seeing an annoying person that I have to talk to, but seeing God's creation and like seeing the worth in them. And I realized I couldn't fully do that, and I wasn't loving others better because I wasn't loving myself, and I wasn't accepting Christ's love for me. So I couldn't expect others to love me and didn't want to love them back as a result. And that totally boggled my mind because I thought if I could like play it off and be like, yeah, but I'm so loving and love all these other people, so it doesn't matter that like I hate myself. But it did. And I learned that I am so worthy of love, and every single one of us is so worthy of love because God chose to sacrifice himself for us. God chose to go through pain for every single person. And like he didn't have to do that. Jesus could have snapped his fingers, been like, later sin, it's Jesus. There's so many other things he could have done. But he chose to come down as a man and like feel pain how we did, not so that he could relate to us, but so that we could so that we knew that like he knew what we went through. He felt pain so that we fully understood what like he had to do for us because he loved us so freaking much. Like, it's overwhelming, and it blows my mind to think about it. We're gonna flip the page. And so I realized that I couldn't accept, like, I told God I was going to go where he wanted me to go and share his love. I realized I couldn't do that because I wasn't loving myself, and I wasn't accepting Christ's love as a result. And so we had this big moment. We're going through school, and I came back this semester, and I still dealt with some difficult things. I tried to find my worth in my grades, and instead I took microbiology and statistics again. And still these classes are so difficult. I don't know why I went into nursing, because these classes, like, I'm not good at math and science. Like, these are not my strong suits. But we're getting through. We are getting through by the glory of God and grace of God. And I dealt with that, and I dealt with some rejection, and I finally said, like, I was like, I'm just so sick of not being good enough. Like, this is really annoying. And so after praying and almost changing my major and leaving the medical field because statistics is really difficult, I finally decided I was just going to leave it up to God, and I was going to let his plan go. And so finally, believe it or not, I was successful. It was a miracle. So I'm actually so excited. This summer, I won't be coming home because I received a position as an orientation peer advisor. So I'm going to lead orientation days, and I get to pour into upcoming freshmen in JMU and really try to mold that community into what we want it to be. And this is the job I've wanted since I got to JMU and met OPAs. And so I'm so excited for that. And so that just made me realize that, like, I could be successful because I fully, like, I gave that process to God. I said, God, if you don't want me to do this, like, that's on you. But this is your just however this process goes, like, you control it. And believe it or not, when I left it up to God, he was pretty successful. Mind-boggling concept. I know. So I also am going to be serving on hospitality team this year with InterVarsity, which is just a team that we welcome other people into our community, and we have after-hour parties, and we study what the Bible says about hospitality. But that was a big deal to get on this team because I had applied last year and didn't get on. And so again, I really left this process to God, and I said, God, I'm going to apply where you want me. And he did, and so that was really awesome to see. And so I just constantly learned that, like, God is so good, and you just have to leave it to him. And so 2018, I've decided is going to be the year of Jackie. I've decided, not the year of me, because it's, like, I want the focus to be on, like, Jackie, God's creation, and not me and my successes. So I told you, like, all the great things I've accomplished because, like, I didn't accomplish them. Like, I want you to see how God has worked through this, and I want you to see God in this. And so 2018, I encourage everyone to have the year of whatever your name is. Learn to love yourself, love others, give everything up to God, and really focus on God and how he is working through you. Romans 15:18 says, "For I would dare not say anything except what Christ had accomplished through me by word and deed for the obedience of the Gentiles." Happy 2018.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's awesome. I love when they do that. My name is Jaci Curtin. I'm currently a junior at the University of Alabama, and I was told if I said a certain phrase associated with that university that Rachel would punch me, so roll tide. So AUMC to me means home. It's more than just a place that I come. It's a place that I'm invested in. It's a place that helped shape me to make me who I am. It's a place that I can rely on for comfort, for guidance, and just people to welcome me. No judgment, no resistance, just come as you are and we will help you. And so having such a welcoming community back home and going to school so far away made it a little difficult at first to find a church home because I knew it wasn't here. So I didn't really want to test the waters anywhere else because I knew it wouldn't really stand up. But any place, you just have to put your faith in God and realize that he will guide you home. Last year, I told this last year if you were listening, but I joined a social fraternity, which was completely out of character for me. You might be wondering, well, why is he talking about a fraternity at church? I promise it's not the fraternity that you have in your mind. It's a Christian fraternity based out of Texas. And it was a place where I made friends who were not only invested in who I was as a person, but who I was as a Christian. focusing on how to help me improve myself the way that I wanted to. Finding a group of people who were invested in me, not just, oh, he's doing okay, his grades are cool, but like, how is he spiritually? What is he struggling with? What else can I help him with? And that was a wonderful experience, and it gave me another sense of home. And one thing that we say in Bucks is that Bucks is not the church. So it guided me to find a church home. And there were guys who would reach out to me and say, hey, let's go to church together this Sunday. And it was just a wonderful experience to find a new church home, not replacing, but in addition to. God has been working in me in so many ways. He kind of broke me down freshman year just to build me back up again. I am happy where I am. I'm blessed with a wonderful, supportive family. My mother's right there. She's smiling and probably blushing a little bit. I'm blessed with a wonderful group of friends, a wonderful girlfriend who pushes me to be better than I am yesterday. And he's showing me what service, guidance, and acceptance of others can do. The question that stood out to me on kind of the sheet that they gave me to run by was if you can pray for AUMC, what would you pray for? And it took me a while to come up with it, and I even up to 5 minutes ago, I didn't really know what I was going to say. But I would say, if I were to pray for anything for AUMC, it would that we continue to show the blessings that we have received. It's to continue to accept the people that come with open arms that we are known so well to do, and to just continue to love one another with the love that God has all blessed us with. So, Happy New Year, God bless, and have a great day.
If you don't know me by now, you're probably new here. But my name is Ryan FitzGibbon. I'm a senior at Virginia Wesleyan University. They changed it to a university this year so they could charge us more. Okay. Dad, I've changed everything we decided to talk about today, so just be prepared. I just want to say 3 things. 1 is a funny story. 2 is something that changed me forever. And 3 is just thank you. And so the funny thing, I was probably in 8th grade. My troublemaking days at AUMC were like right in their prime. And it was right when we were kind of building the set for the Joseph play that we did here. And Mr. Bradley's probably smiling. Me, Andrew McGaffick, and Michael McGaffick were running downstairs like we weren't supposed to. And, it's hard to explain. So basically, there's the wall downstairs, and Andrew went to tackle me, and I moved, and he just put his head right through the wall. Oh, no. Right through the drywall. And so, 8th grade boys who just put a hole in a wall are like, how do we get out of this? And so we're like, well, we're not telling a few people. We named a list of we're not telling this person or our parents, because we know they're going to be mean to us. We're like, Mr. Bradley's in construction. He's going to be nice to us. Like, he understands that this stuff happens. So we go and we tell him, and he's like, all right, show me the hole. And he's like, goodness gracious. And so ultimately, he was understanding, and he made us do some work around for the play to account for the time he was going to have to spend patching up the hole, which you can't even tell was there. So great job, Mr. Bradley. 2, I lead Young Life at Virginia Wesleyan at this school at Norfolk Christian, and I have these amazing guys that really just want to follow the Lord and that challenge me. But man, this year has been brutal with these guys. One of my guys, they found out at the end of last year that his dad was going to be on trial for some things in his past, and he ended up getting sentenced to jail this year. And for any person, that's just an awful experience. But for this high schooler, his name's Joe, and just be praying for him because his dad is in jail now. But it's been just a brutal experience to watch him go through, but he is just the most mature man of God that I've ever seen. And we'll be in the car, and we've gone to Chick-fil-A and eaten a bunch of milkshakes and fries, and I'll be like, I'll ask him how he's doing. He's like, I'm great. God's great, and he loves me, and pray for my dad that he can be a light in prison. And I'm just humbled by him that he is so mature, and that he I don't have the answers when I'm talking to him. I try to speak all this truth to him, and I end up sitting there quietly with my head down like, I don't know what to say. I've never had this experience. And it's just been very humbling. And so it's caused me to every day just try to read the Bible so I can try to learn something. So I might have the advice to give him, or I might have something smart to say him, because I've messed up quite a few times talking with him, but he's still my friend, thankfully. But it's just been, I think the community that those guys are, those high schoolers that I get to lead with, have changed my life, I think, as much as God has used me in theirs. And 3, I think, thank you for all of you. I haven't known all of you, and I don't know all of you, but this church has always been my home, and it always will be my home, whether I'm in Virginia Beach or I'm here. But a special thanks to one person in particular that, well, obviously God first, but to this other person that pushed me to go to Virginia Wesleyan, and that if they weren't here, I wouldn't have gone to Virginia Wesleyan, and I wouldn't be going to Israel. I wouldn't have met my girlfriend. I wouldn't have met all my brothers in Christ that I spend my life going after God with. And so, Clarence, just thank you for pushing me to go to Wesleyan. I'm very grateful, and this church is very grateful for all that you do. So I'm going to get off before I start crying now. That's all.